Hello yogis. So this practice is going to be a little different than what you're used to from me. We're going to do a short 25-minute restorative practice. This is the practice that I go to relieve tension in my hips and my back and my shoulders and my neck. You will need one bolster, 2 blocks, and a blanket. So to start with, you're going to take your bolster widthwise on your mat like so. Okay? Then you will take your blanket, fold it in half once, and then again to make sort of a square. I'm going to place this about 6 inches above the bolster. About 6 inches. Then you're going to take your 2 blocks and you'll place them at the top of your mat in the letter T. Okay? From here I'm going to bring my right hip next to the bolster, reach my right arm forward. So my shoulder's dropping between the bolster and the blanket. My right ear is going to connect to the blanket, resting my head on the blanket. And then my left arm comes up and over, and I rest this left arm on this letter T, these blocks up top. If you'd like, you can always shift the blocks side to side or lower them down. And from here, for this practice, we'll be here about 3 minutes. If you have the time, I highly encourage you to pause the video and set a timer for yourself for 5 to 7 minutes. From here you can breathe, relax, and let go. Gently release your left hand in front of you. Press your left hand into the floor and slowly rise up, taking your time. Head follows last. Go ahead and turn your back to the bolster. Bring your left hip next to the bolster. Reach your left arm straight forward. Left ear comes to the blanket. Reach your right arm up and over, going into your second side, letting your hand rest on those blocks that are stacked in the letter T. Release your left arm, plant it in front of you, and begin to roll onto your back. Arms straight out to the sides. Head on that pillow. Shoulders gently dropping towards the floor. I recommend keeping your knees bent, but if you'd like to straighten out your legs one at a time, if that feels good for you, you're welcome to rest there. Your legs are straight. Slide your heels in one at a time. Then roll onto your right side body, and your head rises up last as you come all the way up to seated. Remove your 2 blocks. You won't need them again. And the next pose requires the bolster and the blanket. So you're going to unfold the blanket into its rectangle. This is usually the size that the blanket is stored in. And then you're going to fold it just once over so it's a skinny rectangle like so. Move your bolster so it's now lengthwise on your mat. And you're going to make sure there's a little bit of space here between your hip and the bolster. Bring your blanket to the upper right-hand corner of your bolster. So if you're facing that, that's where your right hand is. Other side of the blanket comes down towards the center. So it's on an angle, like so. From the upper right corner down to the center of the bolster. Okay. You're going to place your right hip next to that bolster, stacking your knees one on top of the other. Walk your right hand to one side of the bolster, left hand to the other, chest faces the bolster. Slowly roll down and then place your right ear on that blanket. Now you might want to bring the blanket in a little bit closer. Hands can be anywhere. Take a deep inhale. And let it go. So again, I'm going to hold this for about 3 minutes. If you'd like to hold it for longer, just pause the video and set your timer for a bit longer. Blink your eyelids open. Slide your hands back. Press both hands into the floor. Slowly rise up, turning your back to the bolster. Flip your knees up and over. Now take the blanket and align it to the upper left corner, down towards the center. Left hand on one side of the bolster, right hand on the other. Slowly lower down and place your left ear on the blanket. Feel free to slide that blanket in so it feels a little bit more comforting and supporting. Slide your hands back. Press your hands into the floor and slowly rise up. Before you turn, take your blanket and place it at the top of your bolster, right across the top. Okay. Turn your back to the bolster. Make sure there's a fist-width distance here between the bolster and your low back. Knees together, and you might want to keep your blocks handy just in case. I know I said earlier you may not need them. Now slowly roll down onto your back and slide that pillow down so it arrives just like a blanket, leaving your neck clear. Allow your knees to fall open. Now if this feels like it's straining your low back, grab those blocks and place them what I call Chicago style. So LA, Chicago, New York. So Chicago style by your hips. And allow your legs to fall open till your calves and your thighs are supported by those blocks. Palms up. Supta Baddha Konasana. In Supta Baddha Konasana, I'm going to be here for about 5 minutes. Again, if you'd like this to be a longer practice, You can stay here anywhere from 7 to 10 minutes max. Begin to deepen your breath. Use your hands at your thighs to draw your knees to touch. Move your blocks off to one side. Roll in the opposite direction of those blocks. And then move your bolster and your blanket out of the way, off of your mat. Doing your best to do this without sitting up. Then roll onto your back. Shimmy your shoulders away from your ears, palms up, and slide your legs out one at a time to arrive in Shavasana. Again, you are welcome to pause the video and take as much time as you like in Shavasana. Everyone else, reach your arms up over your heads. Give yourselves a good long stretch. Roll to your right and press your way up to a comfortable cross-legged seated position with your eyes closed. Gathering your hands at your heart, acknowledge you are a miracle, and this body is a gift. Namaste.